wasn't recording. Good. I'm glad I checked. Here we go. But up on the beach itself, everyone was still happy and excited. I wonder where we'll finish up this time. Who cares? Seagulls always go to the land sooner or later. Up and up they went, high above the highest clouds, the beach swaying gently from side to side as it floated along. Wouldn't this be a perfect time for a little music? How about it, old grasshopper? With pleasure, dear lady, the old green grasshopper answered, bowing from the waist. Hooray, hooray, he's going to play for us, they cried, and immediately the whole company sat themselves down in a circle around the old green musician, and the concert began. From the moment that the first note was struck, the audience became completely spellbound. And as for James, never had he heard such beautiful music as this. In the garden at home on summer evenings, he had listened many times to the sound of grasshoppers chirping in the grass, and he'd always liked the noise that they made. But this was a different kind of noise altogether. This was real music, chords, harmonies, tunes, and all the rest of it. And what a wonderful instrument the old green grasshopper was playing on. It was like a violin. It was almost exactly as though he were playing upon a violin. The bow of the violin, the part that moved, was his back leg. The strings of the violin, the part that made the sound, was the edge of his wing. He was using only the top of his back leg, the thigh, and he was stroking this up and down against the edge of his wing with incredible skill. Sometimes slowly, sometimes fast, but always with the same easy flowing action. It was precisely the way a clever violinist would have used his bow, and the music came pouring out and filled the whole blue sky around them with magic melodies. When the first part was finished, everyone clapped madly, and Miss Spider stood up and shouted, Bravo, encore, give us some more. Did you like that, James? The old green grasshopper asked, smiling at the small boy. Oh, I loved it. It was beautiful. It was as though you had a real violin in your hands. A real violin? Good heavens, I like that. My dear boy, I am a real violin. It is part of my own body. But do all grasshoppers play their music on violins the same way as you? No, not at all. If you want to know, I happen to be a short-horned grasshopper. I have two short feelers coming out of my head. Can you see them? There they are. They are quite short, aren't they? That's why they call me a shorthorn. And we shorthorns are the only ones who play our music in the violin style using a bow. My long-horned relatives, the ones who have long, curvy feelers coming out of their heads, make their music simply by rubbing the edges of their two top wings together. They are not violinists. They are wing rubbers. And I rather inferior noise these wing rubbers produce, too, if I may say so. It sounds more like a banjo than a fiddle. Oh, how fascinating this all is. And to think that up until now, I never even wondered how a grasshopper made his sounds. My dear young fellow, there are a whole lot of things in this world of ours that you haven't started wondering about yet. Where, for example, do you think that I keep my ears? Your ears? Why, in your head, of course. Everyone burst out laughing. You mean you don't even know that? Cried the centipede. Try again, said the old green grasshopper, smiling at James. You can't possibly keep them anywhere else. Oh, can't I? Well, I give up. Where do you keep them? Right here. One on each side of my tummy. It's not true. Of course it's true. What's so peculiar about it? You ought to see where my cousins, the crickets and the katydids, keep theirs. Where do they keep them? In their legs. One in each front leg, just below the knee. You mean you don't know that either? The centipede said scornfully. You're joking. Nobody could possibly have ears in his legs. Why not? Because it's ridiculous, that's why. You know what I think is ridiculous? The centipede said, grinning away as usual. I don't mean to be rude, but I think it is ridiculous to have ears on the sides of one's head. It certainly looks ridiculous. You ought to take a peek in the mirror someday and see for yourself. Pest. Why must you always be so rude and rambunctious to everyone? You ought to apologize to James at once. Chapter 25. James didn't want the earthworm and the centipede to get into another argument, so he said quickly to the earthworm, Tell me, do you play music of any kind? No, but I do other things, some of which are really quite extraordinary, the earthworm said, brightening. Such as what? Well, Next time you stand in a field or a garden, look around you, then just remember this, that every grain of soil upon the surface of the land, every tiny little bit of soil that you can see has actually passed through the body of an earthworm during the last few years. Isn't that wonderful? It's not possible. My dear boy, it's a fact. You mean you actually swallow soil? Like mad, in one end and out the other. But what's the point? What do you mean, what's the point? Why do you do it? We do it for the farmers. It makes the soil nice and light and crumbly so that things will grow well in it. If you really want to know, the farmers couldn't do without us. We are essential. We are vital. So it's only natural that the farmer should love us. He loves us even more, I believe, than he loves the ladybug. The ladybug? Do they love you too? Oh, I am told they do, the ladybug answered modestly, blushing all over. In fact, I understand that in some places the farmers love us so much that they go out and buy live ladybugs by the sackful and take them home and set them free in their fields. They are very pleased when they have lots of ladybugs in their fields. But why? Because we gobble up all the nasty little insects who are gobbling up all the farmers' crops. It helps enormously, and we ourselves don't charge a penny for our services. I think you're wonderful. Can I ask you one special question? Please do. Well, is it really true that I can tell how old a ladybug is by counting her spots? Oh no, that's just a children's story. We never change our spots. Some of us, of course, are born with more spots than others, but we never change them. The number of spots that a ladybug has is simply a way of showing which branch of the family she belongs to. I, for example, as you can see for yourself, am a 9-spotted ladybug. I'm very lucky. It is a fine thing to be. It is indeed, said James, gazing at the beautiful scarlet shell with the 9 black spots on it. Well, on the other hand, some of my less fortunate relatives have no more than 2 spots altogether on their shells. Can you imagine that? They are called 2-spotted ladybugs, and very common and ill-mannered they are, I regret to say. And then, of course, you have the 5-spotted ladybugs as well. They are much nicer than the 2-spotted ones, although I myself find them a trifle too saucy for my taste. But they are all of them loved? Yes, they are all of them loved. It seems that almost everyone around here is loved. How nice this is. Not me. I'm a pest and proud of it. Oh, I'm such a shocking, dreadful pest. Hear, hear. But what about you, Miss Spider? Aren't you also much loved in the world? Alas, no, Miss Spider answered, sighing long and loud. I'm not loved at all, and yet I do nothing but good. All day long I catch flies and mosquitoes in my webs. I am a decent person. I know you are. It is very unfair the way we spiders are treated. Why, only last week your own horrible ant sponge flushed my poor dear father down the plug hole in the bathtub. Oh, how awful. I watched the whole thing from a corner up in the ceiling. It was ghastly. We never saw him again. A large tear rolled down the cheek and fell with a splash on the floor. But it's not very unlucky to kill a spider. It is very unlucky, James inquired, looking around at the others. Of course it's unlucky to kill a spider. It's about the unluckiest thing anyone can do. Look what happened to Aunt Sponge after she'd done that. Bump! We all felt it, didn't we, as the peach went over her. Oh, what a lovely bump that must have been for you, Miss Spider. It was very satisfactory. Will you sing us a song about it, please? So the centipede did. Aunt Sponge was terrifically fat and tremendously flabby at that. Her tummy and waist were soggy as paste. It was worse on the place where she sat. So she said, I must make myself flat. I must make myself sleek as a cat. I shall do without dinner to make myself thinner. But along came the peach, oh, the beautiful peach, and made her far thinner than that. That was very nice. Now sing one about Aunt Spider. With pleasure. Aunt Spider was thin as a wire, and as dry as a bone, only drier. She was so long and thin, if you carried her in, you could use her for poking the fire. I must do something quickly, she frowned. I want fat, I want pound upon pound. I must eat lots and lots of marshmallows and chocks till I start bulging all around. Ah, yes, she announced, I have sworn that I'll alter my figure by dawn. Cried the peach with a snigger till all that your figure and ironed her out on the lawn. Everyone clapped and called out for more songs from the centipede, who at once launched into his favorite song of all. Once upon a time, when pigs were swine, and monkeys chewed tobacco, and hens took snuff to make themselves tough, and the ducks said quack, quack, cuckoo, and porcupines drank fiery wines, and goats ate tapioca, and old Mother Hubbard got stuck in the... Look out, centipede! Look out! Chapter 26. The centipede, who had begun dancing wildly around the deck during the song, had suddenly gone too close to the downward curving edge of the peach, and for 3 awful seconds he had stood teetering on the brink, swinging his legs frantically in circles in an effort to stop himself from falling over backwards into space. But before anyone could reach him, down he went. He gave a shriek of terror as he fell, and the others, rushing to the side and peering over, saw his poor long body tumbling over and over through the air, getting smaller and smaller until it was out of sight. "Silkworm, quick, start spinning!" The silkworm sighed, for she was still very tired from spinning all that silk for the seagulls, but she did as she was told. "I'm going down after him," cried James, grabbing the silk string as it started coming out of the silkworm and tying the end of it around his waist. "The rest of you hold on to the silkworm so I don't fall over with me, and later on, if you feel 3 tugs on the string, start hauling me up again." He jumped and he went tumbling down after the centipede, down, 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 toward the sea below, and you can imagine how quickly the silkworm had to spin to keep up with the speed of his fall. "We'll never see either of them again. Oh dear, just when we were all so happy too." Miss Spider, the glowworm, and the ladybug all began to cry. So did the earthworm. "I don't care a bit about the centipede, but I really do love that little boy." Very softly, the old green grasshopper started to play the funeral march. Dun, 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 dun. And by the time he had finished, everyone, including himself, was in a flood of tears. Suddenly, there came 3 sharp tugs on the rope. "Pull! Everyone get behind me and pull!" There was about a mile of string to be hauled in, but they all worked like mad, and in the end, over the side of the peach, there appeared a dripping wet James with a dripping wet centipede clinging to him tightly with all 42 of his legs. "He saved me! He swam around the middle of the Atlantic Ocean until he found me." "My dear boy, I do congratulate you," the grasshopper said, patting James on the back. "My boots! Just look at my precious boots. They are ruined by the water." "Be quiet. You're lucky to be alive." "Are we still going up and up?" "We certainly are, and it's certain to get dark." "I know it'll soon be night. Why don't we all go down below and keep warm until tomorrow morning?" "No, I think that would be very unwise. It will be safer we all stay up here through the night and keep watch. Then if anything happens, we shall anyway be ready for it." Stop the share. Well, that was exciting stuff. All right, so let's go to the weekly agenda. And we'll check that out. Of course, you know, the weekly agenda will be hiding here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay, let's go up to the top here. And chapter 24, 25, 26. Now, this is a really good question. What fun scientific facts does James learn about the insect characters in these chapters? Because they really do go into detail about what the insects actually had, not just their magical new bodies. And what do you think James is learning about himself so far? He's going through lots of adventures, and certainly in ways that he never had adventures with those 2 dreadful ants. Now, here's the mistake that Keon pointed out to me. See the cyan here, or the cyan, that color right there? It says pink. It should say cyan. So you should be focusing on free verse, rhythm, and symbol. Let's have Maceo. Could you read for us free verse?
Wait, can I say something real quick?
Real quick.
Okay, so here's the thing. Oh, hold on. There we go. So here's the thing. When I looked at this, I was a little confused, and I didn't even notice the pink part. But when you set it down in the creative writing the poem, you said we could write a poem with symbol.
Right. Let's get to that. Maceo, could you hold on to that question until we get there? Okay. Just read this for now. When we get down there, we'll address that question. Go ahead.
Right. Free verse poetry. Poetry that is not confined by rhythm or rhyme.
It's free. Really is. Milo, let's hear you read rhythm.
Rhythm. There's rhythm. Rhythm. The pattern of sounds and beats that helps poetry flow from one line to the next.
Excellent. And let's see who else is here. Zoe. Hi, Zoe. It's so good to see you again. Could you read symbol for us? Right there. Oh, trying to unmute you. How come I can't unmute you? Zoe. It's okay. We'll call on somebody else. I don't know what to do right now about that. So, Rohan, you want to read it? Rohan? Rohan, can you hear me? I can't hear you, Rohan. Let's go to Krish. Can you hear me? Not if you can hear me, Rohan. I don't think he can hear me. Krish, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, read symbol.
Symbol, a thing that represents or stands for something else, especially material object representing something. Abstract example. The
Limousine.
limousine was another symbol of his wealthy and authority.
Authority. Very good. It's a light day today. There's a reason for that. No editing today. There is the 3 types of verbs that I want you to look at the slide share and take the quiz. Just tell me how many you got. Rolling down here. This is the big assignment for today, okay? This is really the one big assignment for today. It's finishing this book, Long Ago and Far Away, Ancient Rome, and then you have a 2-sentence summary for each section. So, oops, sorry about that. Let's slide back down there. You can look back in previous assignments because I think I asked a couple times for you to summarize these sections, and you can use those same summaries if you want to. There's 5 sections, all very cool. Then, what's your favorite part of the book? What did you learn about ancient Rome that you didn't know? And if you look at the back of the book, you'll see the glossary, and there's some really cool terms there. Write 3 words, 3 glossary words in sentences. So that's the report today. That will not be due until Monday, okay? So you don't have to finish that today, and I'll change the assignment date on your assignment today so you won't feel like you're late with that. Creative writing, and this is where what Maceo was talking about. Free verse means exactly what it sounds like. It means there's no real rules to free verse. You can write it however you want. You can still use poetic elements, but you don't have to. And it usually doesn't have a lot of rhyme, and it usually doesn't have a lot of rhythm. I did a little dialogue here with the sky. I stared at the sky. The sky stared back at me and asked, "What are you staring at, little boy?" "No, I don't know," I answered. "Well, don't you know it's impolite to stare?" the sky scolded. "Can't people just look up?" I responded. "Oh, please keep looking up. I like the attention," the sky replied. Now, here's a poetic element in there, even though it's free verse. Ska and ska. You have alliteration there. Sky scolded. Moving down, rhythm, the poem that we memorized earlier in the year. Under the spreading chestnut tree, the village smith he stands. The smith, the mighty man, is he with large and sinewy hands. That's a certain rhythm. Tiger, tiger has a different one. Tiger burning bright in the forest of the night. So that's rhythm for poetic elements. And symbols. An example here is sunflowers. The sunflower here represents the passage of time because the sunflower follows the sun throughout the day. Here's a picture. Find the 15 objects. By the way, these pictures, you can expand them as big as you want, okay? You click on them and you can expand them as big as you want. And then here are the answers from yesterday. There's the little crayon there. How many of you got that? Nod your head if you did. And here are the rubber gloves over here. Did you guys get that? Any of you?
No. I got none.
You got none of those? You couldn't
Yeah.
find the gloves or the crayon?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
I didn't even know what color any of those are.
Ancient Rome, nothing. Do the book report. Geography, games. Quizzes, none. Do the book report. So, hey, don't do this. Whoever's doing that, stop that, please. Thank you. Fun facts of the day. 5 animals you didn't know existed on Earth. What was your favorite? Family fun. Estimate in your head how many things you think in your house need electricity. How many things are plugged in? Then go count them. See if you're close. See if you're accurate. And then as you slide down here, you've got the chapters of the book that we read. All right, so let's stop the share and let's unmute everybody. And anybody have questions?
Why couldn't I kind of wish that they could like show going in and saving the centipede, so it would be like more of an adventure.
Well, they might do that in the movie. I've seen the movie a couple times, but I don't remember that part in the movie.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
You
I
just
saw
said
it like
use your imagination. He was swimming around
In the movie,
ocean.
the movie
Oh,
was
that's
pretty
the
different.
centipede because he was going to get like a spoiler.
Who has a question?
Mr. Bagby.
Yes.
So like when you I can't type inside the word box. Neither
What-
can I.
What word box?
But the word box you put the I do edit browser. The long time.
I do edit in browser and then I can just type in it and then I click on it again. Everything is saved.
Not a good idea. You're not even supposed. I do documents. I set it up in documents. I do each.
Are you talking about the text box, Rohan?
Yeah, the text box.
Why can't you type in there?
On there and then you have to turn it in. It's way easier to just edit in browser on there.
Yeah, I do edit in browser, but it's still not letting me. Okay, Mr.
Hit twice.
Okay, let me address that for everybody.
Guys, look,
Okay?
I'm in space.
Real question.
Hold on a second. So, when you confront something that may not work, you can ask me immediately in the private channel area, but thanks for asking now. So, when you have the Word document, if it's not working for you, you can always just copy the questions and then paste them later on in the document, okay? What I'm looking for is simply sentence summaries for all 5 sections, and then a couple facts you learned about ancient Rome, your favorite part of the book. So if the text box is not working for you, it will work in another part of the document, I'm pretty sure. So just put it in another part of the document and I'll be able to see it.
Mr. Bagby,
Yes.
I have a legitimate question. Well, everyone else's questions are legitimate questions. Mine just has to do a lot more with the actual assignment. So when it says on the second, okay, that's what I wanted. Here we go.
When it says what?
Hold on. I'm getting it.